Well, good afternoon and welcome to coverage of Tasmanian representative football. It's back on the agenda and a big clash first up between two traditional rivals, the NTFA and NWFL. Two sides who will be very eager to get the first victory in this Tri-Series competition at York Park. Bit of a wet day, but conditions not too bad for football. We saw an absolute thriller between these two sides last year, the Northwest getting up by 2 points, 40-38. Let's hope for a similarly tight contest this afternoon. I'm Andrew Cooling. Joining me on the call for this big match is Bo Down, and Bowie, always a big occasion when the national anthem gets trolled out for a game.
Definitely it is. Pleasure to be here again, Drewy, after a week off, but very, very keen to see. I mean, last year, as you mentioned, that 2-point win, hoping to see another tight contest. This is probably the match of the day for mine. I think this will be a really close game. A lot of stars in there for either team. I'm really looking forward to it, Drew. This is my first rep series game, so again, I don't know what quite to expect, but looking forward to it.
Yeah, certainly we've seen this over the last few years in the women's side of things. A slightly different look with the men's, with the state league coming back into the regional comps this year. But for many of the girls out there this afternoon, this is something they've had plenty of experience with over the past couple of years, and there's been some great battles between these two teams. And expecting more of that this afternoon. This should be a cracking encounter. Two sides absolutely stacked with talent. Regional bragging rights very much on the line. And it will mean plenty to the players. The regional president spoke passionately on radio this morning about the desire to get up. And we're about to get underway. It's Lee up against Letty in the ruck. First handball goes the way of Radford, but that's sharked, and just dropping the ball there was Aylett, stripped of the football. Pressure being applied by Mia Smith, flung out the back there towards Lett. Tries to get rid of Hoiberg-Cox, dumped the tackle ball, spilled out the way of Ruby Hall, tumbles one up towards the half-forward line, but that's shut down by Amali Johnson. Swung a handball over the top, and now Hoiberg-Cox didn't get much purchase on that kick. Sprung out the way of Jaslyn Freestone, who wheels off to her right and floats one down towards the half-forward line. But drifting back to take the intercept was Johnson. A second possession early for Amali Johnson, but not a good one. Kicks it straight to Weinberg. Georgia Anderson there to remedy the situation. Bit of a fumble from Hoiberg-Cox. The wet conditions coming into play early. Her kick straight to Jaslyn Freestone. Lofts it inside 50. Almost intercepted by Johnson. Couldn't quite. Follows up at ground level. Now gets into a bit of trouble. Freestone pressing. It's like a slippery bar of soap at the moment, this football. Handling proving tough. Can anyone get clean possession? The tackle applied by Saywood, and a ball up.
Ball up on this outer wing. Lee and Letty to go do it again. Letty tapped down now to Freestone, the skipper, with a kicking all inside forward 50, out in front of Purton, I think it is. That one, it was Whelan. Late number change there, and this one bobbles out for a throw in. So Jess Whelan in the number 44 today. Always a couple of jumper changes for these rep games. It's going to be Radford to bring this one in. The multi-talented athlete is Meg Radford. As you said, Drury, a slippery start to start this one off. You're on the outer wing of UTAS. It's a high ball inside towards the 50, Johnson coming out to meet it. She's a big presence so far. Out in front of Hill. Has a bit of work to do. Couldn't quite reel the mark in. Has some nice pressure from behind, but flicks the hand pass off to Hall. Kick in board just through the hands of Lee. Again, ball just bobbling out at the moment. Nice pressure displayed by Letty. And it will be a free kick going the way of the NWFL.
Haynes spears a short one. Finds Hannah Lee. And off to Smith. And lofts it up towards the forward 50 for their first attacking foray of the day. Saywood applying some pressure on Stephenson and just keeping her feet nicely with Saywood. Squaring ball. Quite the direction she was after, and able to bounce away with it is Kelsey Hill. Drives one right down the middle. That's a good ball. Finds Freestone. Of the Jaslyn variety. Assistant Liana also in the team as she lofts this one forward. Hall giving a good honest chase, got there but was stripped of it by Whelan, defending the situation, then just toes it away from danger. Trying to gather was Parker. Pressure being applied by Bowman. And I think it's going to be locked in there. Berg Cox. See the prolific Olivia Smith lurking. Will be a big part of this Northwest engine room today. One of the best in the business. Clearing kick from Freestone, tumbles inside the forward 50. Excel's back into play.
Hot start. It's been, but it has been basically living down this NTFA forward line. Inside forward 50s for the Northwest, but they're pressing ever so slightly. Lee and Leedy to do ruck battle again. That's a match-up and a half. Tapped down by Lee. Silver service. Krushka breaks through one tackle. Wanted to go with a hand pass. Eventually does. Flicked it up over her, but only as far as Purton from the Northwest. Picking this one up is Bowman. Kick inside the forward 50 is good. Flicked it back. Krushka just left it behind. Again, another hand pass. This is good here from the North. Letty to put them on the scoreboard for the first time today by way of a point. And it was pressing football there from NTFA, but just a minor.
Didn't quite find the finishing touch there, but it was some slick hands inside forward 50 as Whelan looks to lead the charge out of defence. Went looking Aylett, spoiled away from her. Sulzberger forced it out, but that was sharked. Some good tackling pressure though. Sulzberger wins it back for a side. Inside the forward 50 they go. Well set up behind the ball though, the Northwest. Saywood got hands to it. Turning into trouble there is Stephenson. She's in trouble here. That'll be holding the footy. And rewarded is Mia Aylett. She wasn't quite aware of Aylett's presence, Stephenson. Guides this one, but guides it straight to the opposition. Hannah Viney there to intercept. Locking the ball in their forward half at the moment. Viney kicks towards a 2-on-1. Defended. Johnson has started prominently. It's a good purchase on this kick in the Haynes direction. Couldn't quite find her. Stripped of the football was Freestone. Ball out in the tackle. Just eluding Skinner. Yeah, key player for the Northwest today, Sarah Skinner. Now Saywood turns and gives it a roost up towards the forward 50, but drifting back behind the ball, Kelsey Hill. And the North look to reload here. Searching kick, almost finds Letty. Looks to dance around Parker, flick the handball out, trying to find Hall. Body's back in the path there. Hoiberg Cox and Lee. Hoiberg Cox gathering. Georgia Anderson now charging out of defence. She's a long kick, Anderson. She gives this one a ride up towards the paint of 50. Hill again, leading back to cover off, just gets taken out, lost her footing on the slippery surface. She'll come back and make a tackle here. Davis got the kick away though, dangerous ball in the Saywood direction, and a free kick will go her way.
Yeah, correct call on early the umpires.
So Emily Saywood, this will test her, but she's a good kick of the football. Can she get the Northwest their first of this contest? Drives it towards the goals and drives it right through the middle. The Northwest get the first goal of the contest. The first real look at the goals. And Emily Saywood does the business.
Yeah, very, very good. Free kick was plucked. It was definitely there. And Saywood does well to go back and get this one. Puts it straight through the middle for the first of the afternoon. You can just see the wraparound there. Just a little bit frantic was Hall, and I was always going to pay that. So, first on the board, too. NWFL, they strike first blood here at UTAS Stadium. Back into the middle now. Hole tapped it down right into the path. It wasn't Krushka, but it goes out to Radford. It was Freestone, rather. Beg your pardon to me. Running out to meet it here is Hoiberg Cox. A couple of taps on it. Runs into the Radford jam, and see a ball up. Again, Lee and Letty, big battle in the midfield. Straight down to Smith, who gets the clearance out in front of the skipper in Haynes. She's going to pick this one up and turn out of trouble. Flick the hand pass off to Saywood, but only momentarily as it's intercepted in the Anderson direction. She socketed it off the ground, and again, Saywood will drive them inside forward 50 again. A genuine one-on-one. Hall And now Sayward wins the battle, wins the day, and wins a goal for her team. Turn their opponent inside out. That's 2 in a minute. And they take the early ascendancy here, the Northwest. Sayward there with a brilliant goal. And does well just to drill this one into the middle of the goals. And she gets her second draw. Very good play.
Yeah, Bennett's roofing group play of the day. That one for mine early on perhaps, but that was a sharp turn of acceleration. As soon as the ball hit the deck, she knew she had Alex Hill covered and just burst out the back, gathered it in stride, and she kicks her second. Looking very dangerous down there, Emily Sayward. Plenty of space to operate in. 2 attacking incursions for 2 goals. Good conversion rate for the Northwest early on. They've got an early break here. How will the NTFA respond? Just slung off the kick. Ahern gets a hand in the way. Pressure being applied by Haberle in the back. The adjudication. So Sarah Skinner can send the Northwest forward once again. That's the biggest star in a star-laden side. That one just eluding Purton. And he'll track across the line. Tossed back into play. It's been a good start from the Northwest. Absorbed some early pressure. The defence held up nicely and done the damage up this end of the park. Looking to another one here and get a really nice early break. It was a thriller between these two last year. Northwest got the jump on them on that occasion before the NTFA came roaring back at them. First hands to the ball is Davis, couldn't extract it. Haynes battling away for it. Pressure again from Charlie Davis, but the kick clears the defensive 50. First to it is Letty. He'll be able to play. Skinner appealing for it. And the umpire will toss it in.
Start from the Northwest. Sayward with the 2 early goals if you're just joining us. 10 minutes in to this heavyweight bout. It'll be Lee and Letty again to do ruck battle, as they so often will all day. Tap down was from Lee, but again the NTFA with the numbers by way of Krushka to win this one out in front of Parker. Just got stripped of it, but will end up back in the hands of Freestone as they drive themselves inside forward 50 again. The Northwest coming out to meet it was Haynes and Hall. Haynes will end up with a football, spinning out of trouble again. Hand was good there from Harrison, and running through with some dangerous hyperbole. Yeah, I've stuffed that name up there. Haberle, I think.
Haberle, I reckon, but could be wrong.
To see Haynes now at the pole. Geez, how good are we going to start off with here? As Haynes to drill them inside forward 50, and a couple of packs form. Skinner trying to run onto this one. Does well on all fours, but as we said, she falls over. Krushka with the clearing kick only as far as the big ruckman hole. Good Shepherd, and she'll go and win her own football. Off to the skipper and Smith. Dances round one, off to Sayward rather, with a nice little hand pass off. And to run and dash from outside 50. This would be some sort of goal if it can get there. It'll trickle all the way through. Saward to Saward, right on the goal line. The umpire calls a goal. She's got 3. So the sisters combined there, I think, Drewy.
Yeah, Emily Sayward absolutely running hot here, but it was all set up by her sister Shania Sayward. That was just really good presence of mind. Knew that if she took possession of the football, she was going to get caught from behind. So just went the little paddle with the hands, just knocked it, played the 1-2, and then just got it in deep. And Emily Sayward, talk about running hot. She's got 3 goals in this first quarter, and the NTFA are going to need to find an answer for her very quickly, or this game is going to get away from them. She is absolutely lighting this game up so far. Just too quick when the ball's hitting the deck at the moment. 3 from 3 to start this contest. And they're going to go forward again, perhaps here via Smith, but she was wrapped up. Kick away from Lee, out in front of Shania Sayward. Strips her opponent of the football, but was able to win it back. Flick the handball to Stephenson across to Bowman, who's jumped to the ground. Ball spills out to Sayward. Gives the don't argue, then flings it to Sayward of the Emily variety, but she was tackled. Now it's Letta looking for Haberle. And work it to the outside, and Bowman, umpire's whistle goes. It'll be a free kick for a hold going the way of Georgia Haberle. She'll look to just settle things down here for the NTFA. They've not got their hands on the football too much in the last few minutes. That kick is well defended though. Revel shut it down and then charges onto it onto the wing. Sends them inside the forward 50 to Haynes, who reels it in. Probably just too far out to score though for Libby Haynes. She's a thumping kick, but this would take a real roost from her. So she just guides it into the pocket. It's a good option because Sarah Skinner had peeled off into space and she hits her up. And Skinner can definitely go the journey from here. Just looking the sharper in their execution at the moment, the Northwest. Sarah Skinner to make it a dream start. 4 unanswered goals to start the contest. She is a goal kicker, a prolific midfielder. This one looks pretty good off the boot. It has the journey. It's there. They can't miss at the moment. 4 straight, the NWFL, a 23-point break. And they have jumped the NTFA here at York Park.
Yeah, a couple of the best in the Northwest competition. Probably 2 of the best in the state as well, combining. That's what's brilliant about these rep games. You see the best of the best come together and combine. And that was on full display there with Sarah Skinner and Libby Haynes linking up with each other. And as you said, it's been a good start to the Northwest. Only a couple inside forward 50s for the NTFA. They're on the back foot well and truly. Tap down was one there from Johnson. All just bobbling around in the middle now. On all fours there is Whelan, but again another clearance of the Northwest. Inside forward 50. Skinner was a target. Haynes, it might drop into her lap for a goal. She was unselfish before. And she'll end up getting the ultimate prize, Libby Haynes. That's a goal as quick as they come for the NWFL. And straight out of the middle. Look at this. How good is this passage of play for the Northwest? It was a clearance and then over the head of Skinner, but Haynes was able just to fall into her lap, I should say. And goals, she gets her first. And hot start here from the Northwest.
Emily Sherwood again at the heart of it. She's the one who gets the clear and kick forward. She kicked the first 3. She sets that one up. They are running right, and right now this NTFA defence just not having the answers every time the ball hits the deck inside 50. They're looking a bit troubled. Clearance here for Herberle. Can they get something going back the other way? They need to just get a goal to settle themselves down a little. Georgia Herberle will send them inside 50 here, but parked behind the football was Whelan. It's a bit of a rush kick. Whelan happy to keep the tempo going. Why not? The game on their terms at the moment. That's a lovely ball to Newnham, juggling the mark on the defensive side of the square. She'll just settle things down. Heads wide with the kick. Couldn't quite find Haynes. Getting a hand in the way with Stephenson. Ball spills out the way of Freestone. Shifted inside to Hill. Hill with a nice ball that finds Meg Radford at half forward. Can Radford find a target inside the forward 50? Just sets it up. Set a task though for a forward. And getting the intercept was Mia Bryan. Just got there ahead of Krushka. The kick not really to her advantage. Doing well was Bryan to get back in the hole. Spoiled away by Letta. Paddled out in front of a Hearn. First to the football though will be Viney. Just overrun it a tad. Had some support in the form of Radford. Gathering now, looking to charge through a couple, but she's tackled and dispossessed. They'll be holding the ball. Northwest can take over once again. Hoiberg-Cox.
Hoiberg-Cox now to send them into the corridor. The kick wasn't good for Newnham. It didn't quite sit for it. Again, rushing through was Haberle. Again, Newnham in there. Haynes is lurking around. Crashing on all fours there is Freestone, the skipper. Ball will be going nowhere. Another ball up. A couple of stoppages as we see Letty with a tap down. Clearing kick was from Jaslyn Freestone. Right to the edge of the 50. Coming out to meet it nicely again was Haberle as they drive themselves inside forward 50. Again, nice little bobble and go there from Whelan to a clearing kick. The numbers favour them, and Parker will bring this one, reel it in. Flicks the hand pass off to Aylett. Flicks around one, and good link of hand passes here. It's a good play to start with. Whelan down this wing, but coming out to meet it was Stevenson. Couldn't quite reel onto the mark. Again, Skinner and Haynes do some special stuff. Krushka. The kick wasn't great, but it does fall in the lap of a teammate by Letty. Letty's hand pass was only as far as Anderson, who will track this one back Big ruckman from Devonport playing down back today. Trickling ball out. It's a foot race. Viney and Aylett. Viney winning the battle, tapping it onto herself. Support came from Hoiberg Cox. She's just falling onto the football and drags it in. Anderson, hand pass tight along the boundary line. Aylett would be happy to see this one out if she can, but they keep it in. Hoiberg Cox again. Kick was good to a teammate in Newnham. This is good play here from the NWFL. Right to the edge of the 50. Again, coming out to meet it is Hill, or Harrison rather. And we'll see a throw in.
Dying embers of quarter number 1 here, and it's the Northwest firmly in the ascendancy, a 29-point lead, and looking to go forward again. Just seem to be getting more players to the ball here, outnumbering the NTFA around the ground. And they've put it on the scoreboard early in wet conditions. It's an emphatic early break. One down by Saywood. Smith stripped of the football. Looking for a free kick, Liana Freestone. Umpire says nothing doing and will toss it up. Time enough for another score here, perhaps for the Northwest. Just palmed away by Lee. Locked in there, eventually handed out to Creswell, but she can't escape the clutches of Lee. Wraps her up. Forces another stoppage. They go again. Freestone up against Lee. Knocked over the line. It might just about be that for quarter number 1. Barring any free kick in 50 metres at this stoppage. It's tossed back in. Just paddled away by Lee, but the NTFA will come away with the ball, clear and kick up the wing. And there is the siren to end a dominant first quarter to the Northwest. 5 straight goals. Emily Saywood lighting this game up. Kicked the first 3, set up another. And it's been a pretty emphatic opening term for Bennett's Roofing Group, sponsoring this regional series game. And what an early statement from the Northwest bloke.
Yeah, it was. Again, Saywood has been on fire to start this game off with 3 early goals. Haynes and Skinner as well. I mean, it's always good to see the best of the best coming together and combining, and that's been on full display, as we mentioned earlier, Drewy. So interesting to see how the NTFA respond in this second quarter. Of course, only the one behind, as you can see on the scoreboard. So looking forward to see what both teams can do coming into this second quarter, Drewy.
Yeah, we'll take a quick breather and be back shortly with quarter number 2. The NTFA, we'll see if they can come together and just compose themselves. They need to find a response in quarter number 2. They've left themselves a bit of an early hole to dig their way out of.
Again was Haberley.
Sarah Skinner, now Saywood turns and gives it a roost up towards the forward 50, but drifting back behind the ball, Kelsey Hill. Leading back to cover off, just gets taken out, lost her footing on the slippery surface. She'll come back and make a tackle here. Davis got the kick away though, dangerous ball in the Saywood direction, and a free kick will go her way.
Yeah, correct call.
Kick of the football. Can she get the Northwest their first of this contest? Drives it towards the goals and drives it right through the middle. The Northwest get the first goal of the contest. The first real look at the goals.
Inside forward 50 again. A genuine one-on-one. Paul, and now Saywood. Saywood wins the battle, wins the day, and wins a goal for her team. Turned her opponent inside out. That's 2 in a minute. And they take the early ascendancy here, the Northwest. Smith dances round one off to Saywood rather, with a nice little hand pass off. And to run and dash from outside 50. This would be some sort of goal if it can get there. It'll trickle all the way through. Saward to Saward, right on the goal line. The umpire calls a goal. She's got 3. So the sisters combined there, I think, Drewy.
Yeah, Emily Saywood absolutely running the football too much the last few minutes. That kick is well defended though. Revel shut it down and then charges onto it onto the wing. Sends them inside the forward 50 to Haynes, who reels it in. A real roost from her. So she just guides it into the pocket. It's a good option because Sarah Skinner had peeled off into space and she hits her up. She is a goal kicker, a prolific midfielder. This one looks pretty good off the boot. It has the journey. It's there. They can't miss at the moment. 4 straight, the NWFL, a 23-point break. And they...
Well and truly, tap down was one there from Johnson. All just bobbling around in the middle now. On all fours there is Whelan, but again another clearance to the northwest. Inside forward 50. Skinner was a target. Haynes, it might drop into her lap for a goal. She was unselfish before. And she'll end up getting the ultimate prize, Libby Haynes. That's a goal. As quick as they come for the NWFL. And straight was Haberley as they drive themselves inside forward 50. Again, nice little bobble and go there from Whelan to a clearing kick. The numbers favour them, and Parker will bring this one, reel it in. Flicks the hand pass off to Aylett, flicks around one, and good link of hand passes here. It's a good play to start with. Whelan down this swing, but coming out to meet it was Stevenson. Couldn't quite reel on.
So we're back for quarter number 2. We'll see if the NTFA have been able to regroup in the quarter time huddle. They've been jumped here by the Northwest in this first regional series game of the year. They find themselves 29 points in arrears for a blistering first term from the Northwest. Emily Saywood kicking the first 3 goals of the game has been absolutely dynamic. See if the NTFA can respond here in quarter number 2. Slippery conditions made that start all the more impressive from the Northwest. It was just 2 points between these sides when they met last year. So not quite the tightness on the scoreboard in that first term. And the Rucks go at it. It looks like Hill moved in there for the NTFA, paddling it forward. Viney just tried to go off the deck, but had a bit of a fresh air. He worked off at Saywood, who's kicked 3 and moved in the midfield and done some work down there too. Having impact all over the ground. Aylett gathers, turned into trouble, stripped of the footy. Well, that probably should have been holding the ball. A little stiff there, I reckon, the Northwest. So they force a stoppage and will be tossed up.
And a Viney there. Having a good year so far for Scottsdale. Again, another tap down to Lee. Flicked out towards Purton. Hand pass inboard wasn't too good, and spinning around there with the kick was Hill. Off the shins of a couple. Nice link up there from Sulzberger. This is good from the NTFA as they drive themselves inside forward 50, but it might just be only momentarily, as shrugging the tackle there was Revell. The kick into the corridor was good. It ends up in the lap of Saywood. Stabbing kick forward now out in front of Haynes. She's got a bit to do. She's got Harrison hot on her tail, and Harrison will win this one and be wrapped up by Libby Haynes. We'll see a ball up just in front of the arc here at UTAS Stadium. So it'll be Lee and Hill. Hill in the ruck now for the NTFA. Silver service down to Saywood. Couldn't quite reel it on. Lee with a little flick out towards Saywood. Smith, and they go inside forward 50 by way of Purton. Coming out to meet it, there is Saywood. Hall with a clearing hand pass, but again running onto it. They got Davis in there and Haynes laying a tackle, and Smith will flick this one up to Emily Saywood. Purton now shrugs one. Couldn't quite get the kick away. Umpire didn't deem it as holding the football. Out in front of a couple of players. It's Bryan and also Johnson, who had a little bit of time to regather her thoughts and go inside the forward 50. Haynes bringing ball to ground. Smith, Haynes, wheeling kick. Out in front of a couple of teammates. Davis, Hall. Just got pushed off it. Free kick going the way of the NTFA and Alex Hall.
And we'll relieve the pressure there as Hall plays on to her left and sends it outside the 50. It's marked there by Viney. Takes it and half back and sends it up the wing. Kicks to a contest. Wanting the mark there, it was Johnson, not paid it. But says multiple hands in there, and we'll toss it up. Important for the NTFA to get the first goal in this quarter. Saywood continues to run hot now, bossing the midfield as she gets another clearance here around the corner up towards Newnham. Situation pretty well defended though, and drawing the holding free kick is Hall. Hall can reload. Still a one-on-one, spoiling from behind Purton. Spilled out the back for Lee, has some time. Her handball just a bit sharp though for Purton. Wasn't quite expecting it as it bounces out of play once more. Guy just giving the ball a bit of a wipe there. It is pretty slippery conditions at York Park, a rainy day around the state. Certainly made handling the football difficult at times. The Northwest have certainly handled conditions better thus far though. Trying to paddle it was Hill, but Smith gets first hands to it. Viney goes in there again. High handball, a good one. Now a kick way up towards the half-forward line. Just over the hands of Revell. Now perhaps an opening for the NTFA. It wouldn't quite sit. Does eventually though, but Johnson with a fierce tackle on Bowman brings her down and shuts down that attack.
Yeah, very good tackle there. Bowman getting up straight away though. Tap down was good from Hill. Out again in front of Saywood, who's been here, there and everywhere to start this second term off. Smith's hand pass just misfired, but they have enough numbers to mop up, and Revell will kick this one out of the defensive 50, but it might just be momentarily as Bowman with a kick inside forward 50. Just eludes the teammate though in Hines, and again another clearing kick out to Hall, who intercepts this one. Spots up a teammate, goes in the direction of her, and in the pocket is Haberley. So Georgia Haberley now will try to go for goal. Maybe the distance a task, but they need this one, the NTFA. Haberley now will just send it to the top of the square and hope for the best. The Flyers fly, but just bobbles out. Getting onto this one was Hall. Beating all comers was Liana Freestone, the skipper, for a snap-on goal. And last sign of defence there is Revel. It was Jodie Revel, rather.
Yeah, she's an absolute brick wall, is Revel. Her kick not quite so good, though. Straight to the opposition. A lofted ball will go deep back. Revel gets a hand in the way, but it's roved by Hines, who couldn't finish. And a missed opportunity there for the NTFA. They probably needed to take. They've started this quarter and ended the first, that's for sure, but unable to find a goal to show for it as Hoiberg Cox has her kick charge down, fortuitously bounced right back into her lap though, gets a second attempt to clear, up towards the contest. Saywood got a hand in there, worked off the football was Bowman, slick handball from Parker, and now the NWFL will send it forward, and once again it's Saywood continuing to run hot, weaving through traffic, put Skinner under some trouble, driven from behind though and right into the back. We'll see the NWFL get the free kick. And Skinner will take over on centre wing.
Skinner. Let's drive them forward. Bounces just inside the forward 50. Coming out to meet it is Hill. Krushka breaks through a couple of tackles. We've known her to do that a lot over the years. A good kick out. Only meeting it is Finlay Bryan. Has a bit to do. He ran into a jam. Hoiberg Cox came for some support, and Sulzberger and Hall lay a tackle. And Hoiberg Cox will see a ball up, not too far out from the 50. 0-2-2, 5 straight, 30, the NWFL lead by 28. Sap down from lead. Letty just left it behind, but will try get her own football. Letty at the bottom of this pack, out in front of Hill. Flicked the hand pass back to Viney. She has a bit to do. Stuck the hand in there was Aylett, and again, Harrison. Stuff, and Hall will be wrapped up for another throw up.
So they've at least stemmed the bleeding in this quarter, the NTFA. Can they get something showing on the scoreboard themselves and start this fight back? Fought back in the corresponding fixture last year, but they're going to have some more defending to do here. Sarah Skinner sends the Northwest forward once again. Just too much on it for Davis. Ball spills off. Good tackle laid by Breward. Stripping Davis of the football. Haynes cracks in for it. They'll fight out a draw. It'll be tossed up. Defence holds steady there, but Davis, Dirac, taken away by Harrison, clears the area, heading wide. It'll just stay in for Freestone. Has time to wheel and drive one up the wing. It was well trapped, and an even slicker handball from Bryan there. That was really sharp work in the slippery conditions. Contest now in the middle of the ground, ball to be won, just prodded forwards. Almost a chance to gather. Eventually it is by Hines, works it. Will she get the accommodating bounce? It picks up speed, but tracking it back is Whelan, and she's happy to just draw the pressure and rush that one across the line. Experienced defensive play there from Whelan, a very reliable defender.
He did well. So Whelan on a fullback with a breaking kick that doesn't quite make it out of the 50. Hoiberg Cox try to pick this one up again. Might be an opportunity for Hines. Just overran Hoiberg Cox again, who's been brilliant down back to start his first half off. And in the tackle is Jaslyn Freestone. So a ball up inside forward 50 for the NTFA. Letty and Lee rather. Letty winning the tap down. Just eludes Smith. She'll go back and tackle Krushka at the bottom of that pack, and another ball up. Peak stoppages now. Lee straight down to Hoiberg. Cox flicked the hand pass out in front of Skinner. Does well, just tripped over her own feet and eventually scooped the hand pass off. Hoiberg Cox. Anderson lays a nice shepherd. Smith with a clearing kick out of defence. It trickles towards the boundary line. She might be in a little bit of trouble. And she is in a bit of trouble there with that kick. It wasn't brilliant. So Gillow now. Georgia Gillow to drive them inside forward 50. It's a brilliant kick. Hines will lurk out the back. A couple of packs form. Hoiberg Cox in there with Sulzberger overrunning it. Flick the hand pass out now to Weinberg, who looks for their first of the afternoon. And it'll be a behind. So 4 straight behinds now, Drewy.
Yeah, 3 behinds for the quarter. for the NTFA. They've done all the scoring, but they've not been able to find a major. That was a bit untidy. Wasn't an overly accommodating kick for Ahern there, who found some space and instead it'll be tossed in. NTFA continuing to tighten the screws here in quarter number 2, but they need a goal to show for it. They've got to start making some inroads into this lead as we hit the midway point of the second quarter. Palmed down nicely by Letta. Now Viney curling one round the corner, off hands. Gathering and repelling is Whelan, but it was a bit of a hurried kick, went straight to Gillow. She was the only player there. Gillow pumps them back inside once more. Well defended by Skinner. Just seeking the safety of the line here. Couldn't quite take it across. Ball worked back inside. Whelan and Hoiberg-Cox there. Whelan gathers, slaps it on the boot, kicks it across the defence. And now Parker will gather and look to stride out of defensive 50 here. Wasn't a good kick. Went straight to the opposition. They're going to force it back in once more. Kick to a contest. Awesome courage there shown by Parker. And eventually the ball worked across the line. It was Purton back with the flight of the football. Did well. It'll be tossed into play. Ball largely been up this end of the ground in the second term. The NTFA, it's been a much improved effort from them. They need to find themselves a goal. It's a big hole they've got to find a way to dig themselves out of here. To say would tore them to pieces in quarter number 1. Caberle flicks it forward. Anderson was parked back there and thumps this one down the wing. It's a good ball. Finds the marking target in Sarah Skinner, who looks to get them moving quickly. She drives them up towards the half-forward line. Spoiling from behind was Brewer. Now Haynes. Handball was a clever one. Found Saywood. Saywood sets them inside forward 50. Trying to bring it down's Portia Lambie. Standing her is Creswell. Lambie first to the football. Creswell stride for stride. Creswell does really well. Now has 2 to beat. Might just do well to get this over the line. She's done really well there. Ella Creswell wins the 2-on-1 and holds them up.
Yeah, very well done. Good movement out of the D50 to the forward 50. They just need to seal the deal. So now to the NWFL. No goals yet this quarter. So the Cowan eludes both ruckmen, but bobbles out now to Newnham, who nearly got stripped of it. Viney in and under. Flick the hand pass out in front of Letty. This is a nice build-up now from the NTFA. A kick inside the forward 50. Who have they got to come with it? Out in front here is Whelan. It's a foot race between Whelan and Hines. Whelan does well and regathers and kicks it out of the defensive 50. To Ahern. Ahern flicked the hand pass back in search of Whelan. Just misfired with it and will be a throw-in not too far out from the 50. Again, no goals scored yet. Only 3 behinds this quarter going the way of the NTFA. Searching for their first. Both teams have been playing really well to transition it. The defensive 50 to the forward 50. As we see Letty with the tap down out in front of Radford. Ball just didn't quite bounce nicely for us. Skinner with a clearing kick. Really nicely weighted out to Olivia Smith, who has a bit to do. Hall wearing her like a glove. And again, it bobbles out side for a throw-in.
Will be tossed back into play. A 26-point lead for the Northwest. One down by Johnson. NTFA head forward. Anderson defending the situation pretty well. Spills out the way of Weinberg. Her hurried handball straight to Brian, who clears the area and finds Newnham. Took front position, took the mark. Asher Newnham has a look and assesses the options, then guides one into the middle of the ground. Kicked over the top of a contest. Handball put Georgia Hill under all sorts of pressure. Ball spills out the way of Letta. She tries to find Haberle, couldn't quite gather, but numbers were favouring the NTFA. Will this sit for Freestone? It did. Loop the handball over the top, looking for Weinberg. Going back in Freestone. Got to Herberle. She sends them inside 50. Not much depth on it. Hoiberg Cox tracking the football. He's able to gather. Now looks to turn away. The kick was off the side of the boot though, and it drifts out of bounds. So the NTFA, another opportunity to go forwards. Final 5 minutes of the quarter here. In dire need of a goal. They've been pressing for much of this quarter. Can they find one? They'll get a free kick on the half-forward line here. Aisha Hines will be the beneficiary. Too far out to score. Can she find a marking target? Just opts to set it up. Went looking for Sulzberger. Couldn't quite bring it down. Ahern knocked it into space, but first to the full was Hill. Slick handball and stripped of the football was Hall. Revel on the last line of defence is there. Bit of an ugly looking kick, skewed directly out of bounds on the full, and Sulzberger will get it. Possibly within scoring range here. Doesn't fancy the shot though, just squared it up inside instead. Johnson got a hand up in the path, but handballed it straight to the opposition. High ball right to the teeth of the goal, almost from behind Ruby Hall. Play's going to be stopped here because Hill is down with what looked like a head injury.
Good tackle there by Ahern. Probably might have warranted a free kick, but they've done well just to keep it inside their forward 50, the NTFA. Searching for their first of the day. So the player is carted off as we see Freestone and Revel. Ball just bobbles out now to Letty. Krushka working around. Tries to break through the Anderson tackle. You're not going to do that too often. But whistle down and we'll see another ball up. Still inside the forward 50 for the NTFA. Johnson with the leap. Letty with the tap down. Krushka burst through one for the first of the day for the NTFA. Some sort of goal, but touched on the line by Jody Revel does well, and that'll be that fourth behind of the quarter, Drewy.
She's an outstanding defender, Revel. A tall build too, and she used all of her height to get hands on that one, and again deny the NTFA. It's a nice exit as they find Mia Aylett at half back. A much improved quarter from the NTFA, but frustratingly for them, been unable to find a major. Umpire calls for this one, running out of time to do so. Certainly responded well at stoppages and round the ground. They've better numbers presenting to the football. Haven't been able to find the finish, and Northwest would have jagged one back the other way here late on. That would really be a blow. Aspen Orton on the wing. Just waits for a few players to get forward of the football for her, and then sets it up into the middle of the ground, reaching but not quite brought down. A long time on top of that was Lambie. Eventually the umpire calls for it. The final couple of minutes of the term. 25 points the lead. 5 straight to 5 straight behind's the score. One down by Lee. Bouncing off with strength was Liana Freestone. Thumping kick towards the half-forward line, but there is Jyoti Revel, but she was stripped of the football this time by Hines. No prior opportunity. Sulzberger cracks in. Battling away with Whelan. Hoiberg Cox with a clearing kick that's going to come right back at them because it went straight to Krushka. Finds the marking target in Herberle, who's going to steady things down and take the shot on. Had a bit of open space in front of her if she wanted to play on into goal, but says, I'll take the set shot. And a big moment in the match here. The NTFA simply have to nail this one, you'd say. They've been in control for much of the quarter, haven't been able to find a goal to show for it. Can Georgia Herberle deliver here? She sends it on its way and hits the post. And a 6th straight behind cuts the margin to 24. They've just not been able to find the goal by Downham.
Stiff, very, very stiff that was. It nearly looked online. The crowd were trying to get up and about for it, but not to be. So Whelan, about 30 seconds left, you'd think, left on the clock. Whelan to drive this one out of fullback. Searching kick forward and through the hands of Aylett. Coming out to meet it there is Bowman. Back to Haberley. Intercepted though by Bryan. Bowman had a bit to do, and Did it well, diving onto this one. Didn't have enough support, though, coming Nero for a hand pass, but Hall will reel this one in, and it'll be a throw-in. Or throw up, rather. Lee tapping this one down. Aylett was trying to run onto it, and there is the siren. So a 5 behind to 0 points for the NWFL. 5 behinds it was to the NTFA. They haven't scored this quarter, the NWFL. They still hold a comfortable 24-point lead. Your goal kickers, it was Emily Sayward with 3 majors, Haynes and Skinner with singles. And of course, no goals yet for the NTFA. It was a better quarter, though, as you mentioned on sort of in the middle of that broadcast there, Drury, that the NTFA are looking a lot better. They just haven't quite got the scores on the board to show for it.
Yeah, they got themselves right back into the contest. They dominated the inside 50s that quarter. The game was largely played up their end of the field, just couldn't take a chance. And, you know, 0 goals 6, even if that's 2 goals 4, suddenly you're back within 14 points. You're feeling a lot better about it. It's similar in some respects to the match they played last year where the NWFL jumped them, and then from then on the NTFA really fought back. And I think the NWFL only kicked 1 goal after quarter time in that game. It was enough later on in the piece, Shania Sayward, with what would be the match winner. Are we following a similar script today? We'll have to see. But the NTFA, they've just got to start taking their chances a little better. They've got back into the contest. Perhaps wind is playing a role. We've seen most of the game played up that end of the park, but they'll be feeling a lot better about the state of the game. They're probably a little bit frustrated they haven't been able to make further inroads on the lead, I'd have thought, bud.
Yeah, certainly. It's a 24-point lead to the NWFL. We'll take our major break here, and we'll be back for a big second half of the Bennett's Roofing Group NWFL NTFA representative matches here on the AFL Tas live stream. We'll be back shortly. So Hall who intercepts this one, spots up a teammate, goes in the direction of her, and in the pocket is Haberly, is Revel. It was Jodie Revel, rather.
Yeah, she's an absolute brick wall, is Revel. Her kick not quite so good though, straight to the opposition. A lofted ball will go deep back. Revel gets a hand in the way, but it's roved by Hines, who couldn't finish. And a missed opportunity there for the NTFA.
Cox in there with Sulzberger overrunning it. Flick the hand pass out now to Weinberg, who looks for their first of the afternoon, and it'll be a behind. So 4 straight behinds now, Drewy.
Yeah, 3 behinds. It was parked back there and thumps this one down the wing. It's a good ball, finds the marking target in Sarah Skinner, who looks to get the moving handball straight to Brian, who clears the area and finds Newnham. Took front position, took the mark. Asher Newnham has.
NTFA. Johnson with the leap, Letty with the tap down, Krushka burst through one for the first of the day for the NTFA. Some sort of goal, but touched on the line by Jodie Revel, does well. And
no prior opportunity. Sulzberger cracks in. Battling away with Whelan. Hoiberg Cox with a clearing kick that's going to come right back at them because it went straight to Krushka. Finds the marking target in Haberle, who's going to steady control for much of the quarter. Haven't been able to find a goal to show for it. Can Georgia Haberle deliver here? She sends it on its way and hits the post. And a 6th straight behind cuts. So we're back for the second half from York Park, and it is the NTFA trailing this one by 24 points. Home side fell behind the NWFL after a barnstorming Emily Saywood first quarter. She kicked 3, her team kicked 5. The NTFA then dominated the second term, but could only find 5 behinds to show for it. The NWFL not scoring, so they made some inroads there, Bo, but not quite what they were after. They need to start converting their chances in this third term.
Yeah, they do. They probably could have been, like you said before, 2 goals 4, 2 goals 3. So difficult, but they're looking much better that second term, Drew.
See if they can carry on the momentum and make some inroads on the scoreboard. Letta rises over the top of Lee, 1 it down. They look to go forward here for the first time. Haberle takes it in stride nicely, bends it in towards the pocket. It wasn't a particularly well-directed kick. Not the service Deanna Krushka was after, but they get an opportunity for a 4-50 stoppage. And usual work here. And has been on their terms since quarter time. Start taking a chances. There's certainly a chance of reeling in this deficit in the second half. Lee up against Letta. Coming through Hines, her kick was impacted, but Krushka seized upon the ball, was just taken off the kick by Anderson with some pressure from behind, saves a certain goal. It's another behind for the NTFA.
Yes, another one. Been their day in front of the big sticks today. Wheeling a drive, this one out of defence, out in front of Anderson, who's drifted down back today, not playing her usual ruck position for Devonport. Kick out was good to Skinner. Really nice build up along this outer wing. Wanted to take a bounce, but just ran herself into a little bit of trouble. Over the head of Davis. Haynes got the hand pass. They kick towards the edge of the 50, will be waiting, but waiting the market there was Georgia Hill. So Hill, again, straight lines down the ground. Viney tapping it onto herself, out in the advantage of Hull. A couple of Scottsdale players combining there. A good kick down the outer wing. Anderson was there. Haberle as well. Does well to try and push her opponent off. Johnson ran herself into a jam. Again, had Whelan for support. A good kick right in front of Smith. Breaks through the tackle nicely, and a swift hand pass off to Saywood. Emily Saywood to kick them out. Just dropping the beans there was Lambie, the Ulverson best and fairest to last year. It's a good kick inside the forward 50 for Haynes. Hand pass was good. Back to Lambie. This is a brilliant build-up. Skinner for her second, and the first of the third quarter, I should say, and she gets it. They get there eventually, and it's the first of the third, her second. So 6 straight now to the NWFL. This kick into the middle of the ground was brilliant. Well weighted. And Haynes had a good hand pass forward to Lambie, who just broke through, and eventually Skinner finished the deal off, Andrew.
Yeah, just really good composure, particularly from Haynes. Took the ball in stride. Good option inside. Knew they had the outnumber there. They just worked it by hand really well. Real composure. Perhaps what's been lacking at the other end at times from the NTFA, and they continue to take their chances. 6 straight. The NTFA 7 straight behinds. It's been a large part of the difference here today. 29 points ahead. They're taking their chances. The opposition aren't. So they'll get another clearance here, the NTFA, though. Meg Radford drives them inside the forward 50, off hands by Jyoti Revel, who continues to be a pillar of strength in the back line for her side. She clears this one out towards Aylett, couldn't bring it in. Spoiled away from her. Busting through was Saywood. Now Viney curling one back inside, and Letta just gets her kick away under duress from Lee. Impacted it somewhat though, charging off the line. Surely a hold there on Whelan, was having the jumper tugged, and it will be brought back. Perhaps just waiting to see if there was an advantage there, the umpire, but a fairly flagrant grab of the jumper there. And Whelan, who was so good in that first half, uses this one nicely, finds Sarah Skinner, who just settles things down. Skinner, pair of girls for her. Star in the engine room of this NWFL side, but that, not one of her better kicks. Turns it straight over. kick up towards a 2-on-1 there, Johnson and Whelan, but the one almost won out, then was dumped without the football, but the umpire had paid holding the ball ahead of it. So the free kick will go the way of the NWFL and Amali Johnson.
Johnson kicking into the corridor was dicey, just over the head of her opponent, spinning out of trouble. The hand pass was good there from Lambie. Tried to link up with Smith, just overrunning it. Kick forward now was good to Anderson, who just intercepted it. And they'll try go again. By way of Skinner, wheeling out of trouble. Outside 50, it's a good kick inside forward 50 over the head of Saywood. Haynes leading the pack now. Ball bounces for her. Does well. Libby Haynes gets her second. And they're clamping down now on the NTFA, the Northwest. That's her second. 7 straight. They've been sharpshooters here at UTAS Stadium today. Very nicely done by Libby Haynes. And that one just rolling out the back and sits up for her. Lands in her lap, and easy snap-on goal there, Drewy.
Yeah, Sarah Skinner again at the heart of it, but anytime the ball's hit the deck inside forward 50, they have just been first to it, have been really sharp with their speed and movement inside forward 50. Haynes just swooped on that, got out the back. There were 3 NTFA defenders, but they were all trailing Haynes. They've just read the chaotic bounces of the ball a little bit better. And as a result, they continue to take their chances when they go forward. Radford with another clearance. She's had a couple early in this quarter. Heads wide this time, looking for Freestone. Freestone over the top, looking for Sulzberger. Interjecting was Parker, but coming away with it, Gillow. High ball inside the forward 50. Krushka almost. Couldn't quite. Follows up nicely at ground level, but getting a hand in there was Johnson to break it up. Viney will battle with Johnson, and eventually it'll trickle across the line. Asking the question, Yanni Krushka, but the umpire says it'll be tossed in. But maybe it was booted out of play. So it'll be thrown in. 35 points the lead to the NWFL. Looks a fairly decisive break. Anderson doing some ruck work now, but was beaten by Letter. Crunching tackle from Purton. Driving that one. Winey tried to escape. Anderson and Letter again. Behind Letter thumped it, but Aylett hands to the football. Gets the hands free and guides one into the middle of the ground. Haynes out after this one. Took it clean. He looks to turn clear of Breward. Sweeps the handball to Saywood. Brilliant play that from Haynes. Saywood's been the dominant player on the ground, and she drives them deep inside once more. Perhaps a little grab there on the jumper of Creswell, who's more than happy just to fumble that one across the line. And the first blemish on the scoreboard for the NWFL.
And a rush one. So Harrison, kick out of defence. It was a well-weighted kick to a teammate in Creswell. Creswell's kick was dicey and ended up going to Letter, but a nice shepherd and foot in there from Anderson. It'll be a free kick going the way of the Northwest. So Anderson tugged up along the boundary. Looking to drill a kick inside forward 50, right to the teeth of goal, just over the head there of Saywood. Coming out to meet it is Davis, hugging the boundary line, flicked the hand pass back in. Saywood had a couple of grabs trying to reel it in. A nice tackle display there from Creswell, and we'll see a throw in deep inside forward 50 for the Northwest. 7-1 to 0-7-7 as they look to get another one on the board. Tap down from Davis, out in front of the skipper, Smith. Might have just got shoved. Umpire didn't think so. Viney. Haynes tried to spin out of trouble. Anderson. It's a centering kick forward over the head of a couple, and coming out to meet it here is Shania Saywood, but last line of defence, the NTFA is Georgie Gillow. Clearing kick only momentarily. Haynes flicked the hand pass off. Running into trouble there is Lambie. We'll see another ball up.
Strong tackle there from Georgia Hill. Perhaps a goal saver there. She'll do the rucking on this occasion, but she's beaten decisively down towards Haynes. Couldn't quite bring it under a spell. Saywood turning. High ball. Not sure if that'll be 15. Play on the call. Reaching in was Lambie. Saywood applying some pressure, slapped out towards the line, lurking Saywood, but the boundary line wins out. So, NWFL pressing here for an 8th goal, a 36-point lead. Currently in their possession. Haynes roved it nicely, just got the handball away. Good tackle from Breward. Saywood forces it out towards her sister there, and Shania Saywood. 2 to beat. Saywood has it, but immediately stripped of the football by Gillow. And they carry on afterwards too there. 2 tough customers going at it. Freestone umpire says just get on with it and tosses it up. That's one way to sort it out, I guess. Play on is worked outside defensive 50 where it's gathered by Letta. She sends it down the wing towards a one-on-one through the hands there of Hines, but recovers nicely. Hines, Anderson crunches her. Krushka escapes out the back, sends them inside the forward 50 now. Revel with a rare error there, drops it, has Bowman to contend with. Had some support though, and they're able to mop up the situation. Clearing the area, Revel, it might come right back at them though. Gathering Radford, steers at the half forward and finds the mark in the form of Heberle. Plays on, sends it into the pocket. It's a good looking kick and it finds Hines in the pocket. Who'll go back. Can she find her side's first of the afternoon? They've had plenty of opportunities. This, one of the tougher ones with the angle. So she just chips it over the top and says, you can go Georgia Heberle. Tightens the angle, but a little closer to home, and she should be able to run around and open this one up. 2
beautifully weighted kicks there, Drew.
It was good ball use, wasn't it? Composure that perhaps has been lacking at times inside forward 50 today. So, can Georgia Heberle get her sides first? They've kicked 7 straight behinds, and this won't be a goal. It's across the face. It won't even be a score. In fact, as this one's marked in the last line of defence, the clear and kick straight back to Heberle. Might get another crack at it.
First you don't succeed, try again.
Well, she's going to play on. She fires for goal. Will it have the journey? Not quite off hands. And through for a minor score. Certainly we've seen all the scoring done at the other end of the park. I think wind's certainly a factor and probably impacting a couple of those shots, Bo.
Yeah, very good call, Drew. So Whelan. 0-8 now. Whelan to drive them out of fullback. Kick down this outer, or actually into the corridor rather. Ball bobbling out. Newnham having a bit to do there was Hines, and she does well. Skinner breaking through a couple of tackles so swiftly. Spots up a teammate. A little bit too hot for Taya Parker. Ball just sits for her. Does well. Breaks around one tackle. This is good ball movement here from the NWFL. Kick inside the forward 50. Just spent it before she earns it. Was Liana Freestone. Regathered. Got the hand pass. Flicked it up to Hill. Clearing kick down the line. And it'll be brought in there by Bowman. We'll see the ball up. Umpire Keaton Harmon from the south. Tap down from Lee. Sets it out in front of Stevenson. Stevenson now bursting through with a little bit of speed. Only as far as a couple of Northwest players. A kick towards the 50. Haynes with a nice reach. Tapping it on swiftly. There was Ahern out in front of Saywood. She's been good today. Saywood has a couple of bites of it. Couldn't quite reel it in. Hand pass just misfired to Ahern. Saywood back again now to another Saywood and Shania. Kick on goal is nearly there. And it'll be another behind. So 7-2 now, Drewy.
So it'll be Hall to take over. Full back here. Looks like a match-winning break of 6 goals for the Northwest. NTFA will have the wind in the final term, but a mile behind us. Just trying to extricate the ball from the netting there is Alex Hall. A little bit of difficulty with that. Not the easiest one when it all gets tangled up, but eventually does so. And we're ready to go again as Hall looks to drive this one, but drove it straight in the direction of Haynes. Off hands to Skinner. Flying shot from 45 is offline. Maybe would have just found Saywood over the top instead. Quite able to. She just snuck out the back there, Shania Saywood. Hall will try reload once again. This time uses it better and finds Haberle guides it on the left towards teammate there in Bowman, who was just able to get a handball away, but Lee found Smith, and then Smith got it to Haynes, who worked it to Orton. Orton pumps it in. It's an ill-directed kick. And Hall able to cut that one off again. The third possession. The last 30 seconds or so here. Just chips it over the top to Stevenson. Stevenson. Her kick, a poor one, straight to Hoiberg-Cox. Pushing up the ground here is Taylor Hoiberg-Cox. Assesses her options and just steers a flat ball inside 50, and that too is intercepted, this time by Harrison. Harrison's clearing ball, his hands on it from Letta, worked out the back of the contest. Sulzberger presents up nicely. She heads into the middle of the ground. Big contest to be won here. Slapped away by Ahern. Keeping her feet crucially was Freestone. She slips out the back and drives them inside forward 50. A foot race between the Sixers. Bryan and Weinberg. The bounce definitely favouring Weinberg, but getting back in there, Bryan. Let's spill out here. Anderson able to lock it in, trying to work it out. Eventually they do, and Krushka skips free. Diani Krushka can't find the big sticks. It drifts out of bounds on the fall. And another missed opportunity for the NTFA.
Yes, I'm not scoring. Difficult conditions down in that pocket, I think. Whelan takes the bounce on the deck, just plants it down, and we'll see the kick to the outer wing. Sits it out in front of a teammate in Liana Freestone. The skipper regathers and goes forward, just missing Krushka. Hand pass was good. Krushka again had a shot on goal only seconds ago. Flicked the hand pass off to Stevenson. Scrappy stuff. Hines coming out to meet it. Stevenson. Hoiberg-Cox with the tackle. Shot on goal is nowhere near it. Out on the full for Cole. So they're still pressing here, the NTFA, but again, not enough love on the scoreboard to show for it. Whelan racked up the touches this game. It's a well-weighted kick out to Revel. Goldie Revel. Good play out for Penguin is Revel. Going back with a little bit of courage. It was nice from Parker. She'll get it again. Saywood to Parker. Try to break through the Radford tackle. Run herself into a jam. Might have been holding the football. Umpire didn't think so. Hoiberg-Cox now streaming through the middle of UTAS Stadium. Right towards the edge of the 50. Coming out to meet it here is Harrison. She's got Aylett to work with. Harrison, Aylett, wearing her like a glove does well. Harrison dragged this one in. Got the hand pass away, maybe just threw it out in the end. Haynes with the tackle on Hall. Haynes picks her pockets and goes forward again, but standing underneath this one here is Creswell, who just dropped the mark before she earned it. Flicked it back now to Gillow. It's a high clearing kick. Radford couldn't quite reel it in. Ahern just got her kick smothered. In there was Purton, and we'll go back into the middle of the ground. Running over it is Haberle. Lee tapping it onto herself. Hill. Ahern's kick got smothered not once but twice. Haynes. And breaking through is Haberle. And towards a teammate in Creswell. The kick into the middle of the ground was not brilliant. Overrunning it was Krushka. Back now to Gillow. Kick inside the forward 50 isn't brilliant. And again, coming out to meet it here is Parker. Into the middle of UTAS Stadium. Running with it here is Georgia Hill. Scrappy stuff. It's just been played in between the arcs. Krushka from outside 50 runs inside it. Right to the teeth of goal. Out in front is Weinberg. Just sock it off the ground. The goalkeeper in play there. Krushka through the tackle. And it'll be a throw.
Yeah, scrappy stuff there. That passage of play, and the NTFA just didn't quite have the composure. Krushka looking to get the job done herself. Had a couple of players on over the top. Just needed to deflect the handball there, I reckon, but continue to squander opportunities, the NTFA. So this one's towards Saywood. Just eludes her, able to track it down eventually, and then runs into a little bit of traffic, able to shift it across. It was a poor kick straight to Gillow. Gillow will send the NTFA inside forward 50, kicks to a contest off hands. Oh, lovely work from Sulzberger. Gets free and bends it around the corner, but again offline. 0 goals, 9. Add in 4 out of bounds on the full. 0 goals from 13 scoring shots. They've not been easy scoring shots, or there's been a couple rushed, but at some point you've just got to take a couple of them. They haven't been able to do so. The NWFL, 6 goals ahead as a result of it. In command in this game in the dying embers of the third quarter. High ball. Revel working up towards the football. Slapped away from her. Freestone did well to get it to Krushka. Krushka steers it over the top and finds Haberle, who almost plays on. Didn't go off her line though, so can now go back and take a shot. This has been a tough kick all afternoon into the wind. Can Haberle get it done this time? It's working back, but not quite enough. Another behind. The post this time, I think the second or third post they've had. 0 goals, 10 the NTFA.
Haven't bought their kicking shoes today, Chewy. I mean, a couple of not easy options, but that one just working its way back. Didn't quite register what they would have liked for a major. Whelan again, just paddling it on the deck, and there is the siren. It was a tough quarter there. Not too much play happening, only a couple of goals to speak of, but they've done well. The NWFL, 2 goals that quarter. It was Haynes and Skinner with your 2 goal kickers that quarter. And the NTFA yet to score. It's the Bennett's Roofing NTFA versus NWFL rep games here, Drewy. It was a nice quarter of football, but only the 2 goals to speak of.
Yeah, got them pretty early in the quarter. The NWFL just got that extra separation on the scoreboard, and then much of the quarter played out as the second term did. The NTFA getting plenty of the ball forward, but just unable to take chances. They haven't been able to find the big sticks today. They've had the opportunities to be close enough. I think the NWFL is still good value for their lead. They were absolutely brilliant that first quarter, but it could be a much tighter affair on the scoreboard, that's for sure. And at 35 points, you'd say the result probably beyond doubt heading into the final term. Barring anything truly miraculous, we'll see if that's on the agenda shortly. We'll be back with the final term from York Park. 35 points the lead to the NWFL. Leaning up against Letta. Coming through Hines. Her kick was impacted, but Krushka seized upon the ball. Was just taken off the kick by Anderson with some pressure from behind. Saves a certain goal.
A swift hand pass off to Sayward. Emily Sayward to kick them out. Just dropping the beans there was Lambie, the Ulverson best and fairest to last year. It's a good kick inside the forward 50 for Haynes. Hand pass was good. Back to Lambie. This is a brilliant build-up. Skinner for her second and the third of... well, the first of the third quarter, I should say, and she gets it. They get there eventually. Anderson, who just intercepted it, and I'll try go again. By way of Skinner, wheeling out of trouble. Outside 50, it's a good kick inside forward 50, over the head of Sayward. Haynes leading the pack now. Ball bounces for her, does well. Libby Haynes gets her second. And they're clamping down now on the NTFA, the Northwest.
In fact, this one's marked in the last line of defence. The clear and kick straight back to Berlay. Might get another crack at it.
First you don't succeed, try and try again.
Well, she's going to play on. She fires for goal. Will it have the journey? Not quite off hands. And through for a minor score. Certainly we've seen all the scoring.
Tapping it on swiftly, there was Ahern out in front of Sayward. She's been good today. Sayward has a couple of bites of it. Couldn't quite reel it in. Hand pass just misfired to Ahern. Sayward back again now to another Sayward in Shania. Kick on goal is nearly there. And it'll be another behind, so 7-2 now, Drewy. And in front of a teammate in Liana Freestone, the skipper, regathers and goes forward, just missing Krushka. Hand pass was good. Krushka again had a shot on goal only seconds ago. Flicked the hand pass off to Stevenson. Scrappy stuff. Hines coming out to meet it. Stevenson, Hoiberg Cox with the tackle. Shot on goal is nowhere near it. Out on the full for Cole. So they're still pressing here, the NTFA.
So back for the final quarter. This Bennett Roofing Group Regional Series match. NTFA NWFL. It's the NWFL with a commanding 35-point lead as we are set to get underway for the final term. They've taken their chances. They've been pretty ruthless inside forward 50. That's not a critique you can give of the NTFA. They have been wasteful at the other end, as you can see on that scoreboard. 0 goals, 10. NWFL have been the better side, but not 35 points better. So can the NTFA straighten up and give themselves a sniff? It's a mountain they've got to climb. We'll see if they can get an early goal and change things. Letter will try and send them forward immediately. Went looking for Weinberg. Anderson's been pretty solid down back. Spoiled that away nicely. Skinner flicked the handball out to Purton, and now rebounding off half-back is Johnson. Lofts one up towards Haynes there. It was taken away from her. Using the balance and gathering it. Freestone tumbles a kick clear up towards the middle of the ground. First to the football, there was Haberle. Couldn't take it cleanly though, and the Northwest looked to seize it back the other way. Some good body work there from Freestone to repel. Thumps the kick up towards the half-forward line. The ball just eluding Sulzberger. Johnson spun in the tackle. The umpire's going to ping her. That was a bit harsh. Thought she got the answer to that one, but a free kick will go the way of Ruby Hall. She'll send the NTFA forwards. They've got no time to waste if they're any chance here. They need 6 goals in the final quarter. Up the back towards Hines. Will it sit for her? Closing his wheel and wraps her up, strips her of the football. Spills towards Brian. Sulzberger climbs in, and they'll force the stoppage.
Well, it does seem like the scoring end this. So they kick into the right end. I mean, a lot has to go well for them, but to start off, they need a goal here, that's for sure, as we see Lee winning front position, tapping this one out towards the boundary line. Johnson didn't want to do too much work to pick it up and keep it in, so we'll just see a throw-in deep inside the forward 50 for the NTFA. 0-10, it's an ugly scoreboard. Winning the battle there was Letty. Out in front of Johnson, flick the hand pass to Skinner. Does well to try and gather herself, but coming in like a raging bull was Letty. Off to Krushka from outside 50. This has been some sort of goal from Krushka, but last line of defence lurking there was Finlay Bryant. Yeah, you touched on Anderson before, Drury, playing a little bit out of position. I mean, usually in the ruck for Devonport, so she's done really, really well down there in the forward line, back line rather. Smith tumbles the ball out of defence, but Radford's there in support. She'll try to pick this one up. She eventually does. She'll have a little bit of time and space to centre this one to Brewitt. Haven't called her name too much. Brewitt into the middle of the ground. Finds Freestone. A kick just on the edge of the square. Hits up Stevenson. Stevenson with the kick inside forward 50. One-on-ones everywhere. Hines just sat underneath it. Whelan did really well defensively and had a little bit of time to think of her next move, just through the hands of Letty. Smith dragged the hand pass back to Skinner, two of the best players in the competition, that's for sure. Skinner, two of the best players in the comp, or two of the best in the state, as Haynes takes a nice mark, who's been really solid, 2 goals to her name. The skipper, Libby Haynes out of Penguin, the footy factory up there in Penguin. Haynes down the line, coming out to meet it though nicely was Brewitt, and doesn't take any time, plays on, again kicks to the edge of the square, pushing underneath. The ball was Haberle. We'll go inside forward 50 now. Hines, Sulzberger rather, standing underneath it, wheeling with a spiralling ball out of defence, just eludes Aylett. 1-on-1 on the wing. Shrugging the tackle and flicking the hand pass off to Hole. Skinner had her in a jam. Nicely done by Sarah Skinner, holding the football.
Yeah, not a player you want to take on. Sarah Skinner ran straight into her. She was always going to make that tackle stick. The prolific Sarah Skinner. She can send the Northwest forward here. Heads wide, looking for Haynes, who took that spectacular mark moments ago. A really strong contested mark. She's so good in the air, Libby Haynes. Able to take that one as it spiked away from her. Lee in the letter to contest the ruck duel once the ball has been retrieved here. Sauce back into play. Lee won it down. Shark though, and now an opportunity for the NTFA to drive one towards the half-forward line. Too much on the kick though, and Jalty would have been able to just drift back into the space. Take an intercept mark and pick out Smith on the wing. No real sense of urgency about the ball movement from the NWFL here. The match well and truly within their keeping. And that's a lovely kick from Smith. Spots up Mia Aylett. Aylett has Skinner riding shotgun with her, so she draws the defender and then flicks it across to Skinner, who balks inside and then guides one, but just a little too shallow on the kick. Allowed Brouard to intercept. She skews that one a little off the side of the boot, but worked out all right. Let her able to push back and take the mark. Drives forward and finds Sulzberger. Sulzberger works it over the top. One-on-one here through the hands of Hill. Anderson defended the situation pretty well. The handball a bit indiscriminate. They almost brought in Brouard. Eventually it found its way to Lee. Lee harries a kick out towards the middle of the ground. Turned over straight to Letta. She heads wide. It's a nice kick to find Haberle. Haberle now directing traffic. Just looks to guide a ball into the space. Getting a hand up in the way though. Marley Johnson defended the situation nicely. Smith battling away. Kicked away from her though. Up towards the direction of Freestone. Revel jumps on top. A couple climb on top of her, and the umpire says you've dived on it, made no attempt to get rid of it, holding the football. Really a fair enough decision. She didn't really make any effort once she was on top of it. Rewarded Jaslyn Freestone. And can Freestone do what so many have failed to do for a side today and put one through the big sticks? She'll kick with 30 out directly in front, and she does. So Jaslyn Freestone breaks the duck. They finally get a first goal of the afternoon, the NTFA, and they cut the margin back to 29 points. Jaslyn Freestone with a nice finish. They get the first major of the final quarter.
Yeah, just some good pressure inside forward 50. And they've been displaying the pressure, that's for sure, but finally comes to fruition, and 16 points they've got now on the board, 110. Still not brilliant, but it's a start. 7-3-45 the NWFL. So Lee and Letta. Tapping it down there was Letta with the reach from behind. Smith trying to run onto this one. Has two bites of the cherry. Krushka wearing her like a glove. Smith flicked the hand pass off to Saywood. Trying to toe poke it there was Ahern. The two number 13s go at it. Flicking back to Letta. It's a kick inside the forward 50. Just eludes Sulzberger. Anderson will try to track this one down. Bounced into the path of her. Spinning through a couple of awaiting forward members of the NTFA. Running onto this one now is Stevenson. Just fell over at the last hurdle. Flicked it off to Habley. Broke through one tackle. Habley for 2 goals in a minute. Out on the full, doesn't even score. So that's a couple of out on the full now. Is that one a difficult opportunity?
Yeah, couldn't quite work that one back. Was under pressure. Many of the misses have been, to be fair, but just hadn't been able to take one or two of them. Might have been within striking distance here as we tick towards the final 10 minutes of this one. They've just left themselves too much to do, you suspect, as this one off hands, turning away with it. Aspen Orton, her kick shut down. Though the hands must have come after the boundary line, as the umpire's going to give a free kick to Georgia Haberle, who'll send the NTFA inside 50 once more. Pumps it to a hot spot. Sulzberger through her hands. Spills out the back of the contest. Just happy to rush this one through was Brian, and professionally fumbled enough, because if she had taken control of the ball, probably would have been pinged for deliberate, but just disguised it well enough. Her intent was pretty clear. And when you're fumbling like that, you can't really be pinged for it, so...
The old butterfingers.
Very nicely done there by Finlay Bryan, as Jess Whelan, she's had some rebound 50s today. Another one here. Strong mark from Amali Johnson. Under pressure from behind. Brought it down. Heads wide with the kick. Tracking this one, Lambie. Under a bit of pressure, Lambie. Spun around in the tackle and stripped of the football. Spills out of the hands of Harrison. They battle for it again. And we have ball up on the wing.
Yeah, tough contest. It has been physical today, that's for sure. Lee and Letta. Either up and really getting a decisive tap down. Ends up in the hands of Skinner. Kicking board was good from Emily Sayward. It was Sayward, not Skinner, rather. And this one will be drilled back in towards the 50. Johnson with a kick into the corridor. Just eludes a couple of teammates. Tapping it on professionally out to Stevenson. It's a kicking board out in front of Haberley. Has a bit of work to do. The ball just might beat her, and she tried tapping it in, but running out of tarmac there is Haberley. So we're halfway there. Of course, 2 big games on the AFL Tas live stream today. In regards to the rep series. So we're throwing inside the forward 50 now. No ruckman getting a hand on it. Breaking through was Letta. Skinner's been solid. But Stevenson met her immediately and will be another ball up. Umpire crosses himself. Letta with a big fist out of midair. Smith tried to break through a couple of tackles, spun out of trouble, and should be taken high, I believe. So Smith at half back. We'll just dump a kick down the line, but only as far as Krushka, who's been instrumental. Even though they haven't been playing her best, she's been here, there and everywhere. Revel trying to meet this one, flicking it off Weinberg to Sulzberger. She's caught in a jam, it'll be a ball up.
Sun shining down on York Park now, but a slippery surface to begin with after some morning rain. Pretty good conditions now as Johnson gets the clearing kick outside defensive 50, spills out the back. Motoring to the ball is Ahern, gets there first and then just cleverly prods it ahead towards Haynes. Haynes swept the handball inside and they're on out the top here because running onto it Sayward. She kicked the first 3 of the afternoon. She straightens up towards goal for number 4. Just offline. Emily Sayward, not quite, but wonderful movement of the football, turning defence into attack in the blink of an eye there.
Something about this end of the ground, I think, Drewy.
Yeah, the kick's just catching that wind, I think. Sayward might get herself another opportunity here, though, as the kick out went straight to her. Spilt the mark, though, and that'll be of relief to Freestone, who's able to clear it out towards Meg Radford. Takes the mark, defensive side of the wing. Radford heads into the corridor. Mark unable to be taken, but eventually it's gathered by Herberle. Ran herself into a bit of trouble. Anderson blocks that one off. Herberle again, brought down by Smith. Wraps her up. The umpire calls for it. 29 points to lead with 7.5 to play. The result beyond doubt at this point. See if the NTFA can make some more inroads here. Smith takes it away for the NWFL. Heads wide in the direction of Ahern, who showed that sharp turn of speed moments ago. Just whacked off the deck by Hall up towards the half-forward line. Sulzberger just pushing Whelan out. Then goes back in and wins the football. Lofts it, but getting a hand in the way was Purton. They'll sweep out the back of this contest and steer it up. Just too much on it though for Lee. Taken by Herberle. Wheels inside 50. Has a bounce. Straightens up. Her kick though was charged down. Nicely done by Parker. Then it's kicked towards the goal line, but Ravel was parked there playing goalkeeper in the goal square. Able to rebound away. Found Ahern. She clears the area and round the corner finds Smith.
Smith being solid, the skipper. Well, not the skipper. Oh, yeah, she is actually. Haynes out in front of her. Again, the boundary line will beat all comers. Having a really solid season is Olivia Smith from Wynyard. It's the best of the best here on display at UTAS Stadium. It's been a hard forward contest. May not look like it on the scoreboard, but a lot of physicality. Some big tackles and bumps and whatnot. As Lee taps this one down. Purton ran herself into a little bit of Brouard trouble. Does well to get the hand pass just away in the nick of time. Ball was out now to Letta. In fact, it was Hill. And in front, running onto it here is Freestone. Just didn't quite sit for her. Regathers and rethinks what she's going to do. Crashing through the pack there was Bowman. Again, Revel, the big key back, has been brilliant down there in that fullback region. And now to the best and fairest winner of last year for Ulverston, Portia Lambie. Out to Skinner with a diving slips mark. Skinner. Parker, lethargic build-up. Skinner will make the distance and she'll go back to her. Just slipped over at the crucial moment, but regathered and did well to get the kick away before the pressure arrived. Smith made it difficult for her, picked it up, slapping it on the boot there. Was Orton, just got a kick away in the nick of time, out in front of Haynes, who's been a big key forward down there. Running into trouble though was Lambie. Free kick going the way of the NTFA.
And nicely done there by Taya Letta. Made to the tackle stick, wins the decision, then sends it up towards the paint of 50, over the head of Sulzberger. Tracking it is Bryan, but slapping it on. Herberle running onto it. She wanted to turn onto her left. She does, turns inside, bending it back. Won't quite have the journey. Revel first to it. Oh, had 90% of it, couldn't complete the mark. And fumbles it across the line for a ball in.
And a losing side, Haverley is very, very solid.
She's been busy and dangerous, and another day might have had 2 or 3. It's been that kind of an afternoon for her side, though. Just haven't quite had the end product, that little bit of polish. It's tossed back in once more to the advantage of Freestone, but Anderson gets the better of her. Just sends a high up and under kick, spoiling from behind Johnson. Did well to break it up. Freestone tries to shrug free of her, does so, gets a kick away. Right to the line, Freestone, goal! Liana Freestone with a piece of magic. That's Bennett's Roofing Group Player of the Day, and cuts the margin back here late on to 23 points. Some wonderful work here, just kept fighting for it. Shrug free of Johnson, slapped it on the boot, and bounces right through the big sticks.
Very, very solid. Freestone, the skip up. Both Freestones have been quite solid. 2 last quarter goals between them. Back to 21. Oh, wow, 23 rather. This wasn't my strong suit. So back into the middle. Tap down from Hill. Out to Sayward. Only Sayward. Instrumental in this victory. She's kicked 3 first quarter goals to really set them alight. Coming out to meet it was Breward. Smith pushed her opponent underneath it. Smith now to Haynes from 50. Will just drill one, and all in her lonesome there is Aylett. Yeah, Aylett out of Ulverston does very well just to get a bit of time and space off her opponent. And she's going to go back and try get in on the act now. This will be for goal number 8 of the day. So Aylett, relatively easy kick, all bearing the wind, and it just shrugs across the face to goal. That wind again in question. It'll be a minus score now.
24 points to lead. Looked clear defensive 50, high ball, getting hands to it. Letter couldn't quite complete the mark. Gathering eventually Viney. Kick though, a poor one, straight to Burton. But into the wind, this would probably be a bit beyond her range. Look instead to find a target and just stands one up invitingly. Turning away with it there was Lambie. Got the handball out to Haynes. Haynes worked it back to Skinner, slaps it on the boot, but was always working the wrong way, and a minor score only. Harrison will reload from fullback.
At the dying stages of this women's rep game. 25 the margin now. Harrison, obviously a little bit wet out there, not too confident to bounce. Nearly dragging that one into Sulzberger. Radford is taken in the tackle. Umpire eventually blows the whistle. Brought a little bit more of respectability back on the scoreboard with these 2 last quarter goals. Krushka in the ruck. Coming out with it is Radford. Just got her kick smothered, trying to go to Hill. Hill under a little bit of pressure, but coming away with it is Freestone, who did kick that goal. Freestone into the middle of the ground, but again, Revel, who's been so solid in defence. Usually playing that last line, has drifted into the centre of the ground. Jodie Revel out of Penguin. Kick didn't quite hit the mark. Sulzberger. There was Freestone. It was Freestone. It just copped it. A little tap on the nose, and She'll run around and go again. Out in front of her teammate. It's a good mark taken there by Leder. Maybe a consolation prize is on the table. Leder from outside 50, nearly hitting the post. And the story of the day for the NTFA had been that damn post.
Yeah, another behind, one of the more spectacular behinds of the day. Just took that one in the middle of the ground, kicked it from 55 metres out, got a terrific ride. Didn't get the bounce she was after. Another behind. Take their tally to 2 goals 12 for the afternoon. Half the score of the NWFL, who emerged 24-point victors. They set the game up with a blistering first quarter. Emily Saywood kicked the first 3 goals of the game in a 5-goal burst where they just broke things open. Every time they went forward, they looked like they were going to kick a goal. Indeed, just about every time they did go forward, they kicked the goal in that first quarter. They were red hot. They had a 29-point lead that they took into quarter time. From that point on, the NTFA were pretty good value. They certainly had the better of probably 2.5 of the remaining 3 quarters. The NWFL had some patches. They got 2 goals to start the third term. Outside of that, the game was largely on the NTFA's terms in the second half, but they just couldn't take their chances. 2 goals 12. They had 5 out of bounds on the full as well. Just couldn't take the opportunities that presented, make the inroads, and as a result, the NWFL had a pretty comfortable lead for pretty much the entire afternoon, despite much of the game being played against them both.
Yeah, very much so, Drew. I mean, those last 2 quarter goals probably just came a little bit at a later time. Otherwise, they might have been on the back foot. But again, as you mentioned, it was a pretty comfortable lead to the NWFL, who were clearly, for mine, the better team. But again, some nice patches shown by the NTFA. It was a physical game. There was a lot of big bumps and hits and tackles, which is what you want to see in a game of football. But both teams would, I mean, the scoreboard not brilliant, but I don't think that both teams would be too displeased, especially the NTFA. Like they had some really good passages of play going from that defensive 50 to the forward 50. So a lot of learnings for both teams. I'm sure they'll have a couple more other rep games against some other teams. But I think they both played pretty well, scoreboard barring it.
Yeah, I think the NTFA will just rue the 5 or 10 minutes where Saywood got red hot out of the blocks and they had no one to stop her early on, and then perhaps a few opportunities. They weren't always easy, but they probably feel like they could have taken a few of them. But the NWFL emerged victorious and put themselves in the box seat to win this Minutes Roofing Group Regional Series. They'll take on the South, and if they can win that, they will be the champions this year. They had a narrow 2-point win over the NTFA last year. It was slightly more lopsided on the scoreboard affair today. It looks like we're going to have the best on ground presentation. Who do you think is in the running for that one, Bo? For me, I think Emily Saywood broke the game open with that first quarter, set up another couple. I'd have her as the front runner. Is there anyone else you'd have in the mix?
Yeah, I'm with you on Saywood. I mean, Skinner played some really good football. Anderson as well off full back, but again, it didn't quite get down there. I mean, Krushka was in and around for the NTFA, but yeah, hard to dispute your call, Drew, with Emily Saywood.
So we'll just see who gets presented with that one before we wrap up. Cast from this one, of course, following in about 10 minutes' time is the men's match at 2:10. The men's NTFA and NWFL meet for the first time in many years with, I suppose, a full-strength NTFA side with the teams dropping back from the State League. It'll be an intriguing contest, that one. I think our effects mic will pick up Rick Fontaine here. So looks like we've got a best player from each team being presented here, one for each side. So Meg Radford, the recipient for the NTFA. We'll see who gets the NWFLs now. That's not coming through, not the clearest sound effects from the ground there, Bowie. But Radford had a solid game for the NTFA. I can understand that one.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just the one best on. Apparently one from each team is the order of the day here. Apologies for the confusion there. So Jess Whelan winning the best on for the Northwest. Look, I thought it was Saywood, but I think Jess Whelan had a fantastic game in defence, had a stack of it back there, won a lot of contests, so won't push back on that one too much. A worthy recipient. That'll do us from the women's game. We'll be back shortly with the men's. It was the NWFL by 24 points in the first of these Bennett's Roofing's regional series games.